The vast observatory of the celestial harmonium hummed with quiet efficiency, its crystalline walls reflecting the soft blue light of countless holographic displays. Captain Zara reviewed the latest star system survey reports, her sensory tendrils moving with practiced precision across the interactive interfaces. Millennia of exploratory missions had made her species experts at categorizing planetary civilizations, a process they considered both an art and a scientific inevitability. The Sol system appeared predictably mundane in initial scans, a yellow dwarf star surrounded by 8 planets, with one rocky world nestled in the habitable zone. Zara's preliminary assessment began to take shape. Planet designation EA427, local name Earth, technological development level, pre-spaceflight, potential, minimal. Her junior science officer, Krelin, approached with additional data streams. "Captain," he said, his voice modulated to convey professional detachment, "the carbon-based species on the 3rd planet shows some unusual data patterns." Unusual was not a word often used in celestial harmonium reports. Their civilization prided itself on predictability, on the ability to categorize and understand every potential threat or resource. The holographic display shifted, magnifying various aspects of human civilization. Satellite networks crisscrossed the planet. Digital communication systems pulsed with incredible complexity. Artificial intelligence algorithms competed and collaborated in intricate networks that seemed to defy simple categorization. Most intriguing were the seemingly chaotic information exchanges, billions of independent units sharing knowledge at unprecedented rates. Zara marked several anomalies. The humans had not yet achieved unified planetary governance, yet they maintained complex global communication systems. Their technological development appeared uneven, primitive rocket technology existing alongside quantum computing research. Satellite networks showed both military and civilian applications that suggested a species constantly negotiating between conflict and cooperation. Archaeological and geological data revealed another fascinating aspect. This was a young species, barely a moment in cosmic time, yet they had already fundamentally transformed their planetary environment. They had developed technologies to understand their own planetary history, mapped their genetic code, and begun exploring the boundaries of their scientific understanding. "Krelin," Zara said, her voice carrying a hint of professional curiosity, "compile a comprehensive behavioral analysis. Something about these humans doesn't align with our standard predictive models." The junior officer's tendrils danced across additional data streams. Social media platforms, scientific publications, economic systems, each layer revealed more complexity. Humans communicated through multiple layers of abstraction: verbal language, written communication, digital networks, and increasingly sophisticated artificial intelligence interfaces. Most striking was their approach to problem solving. Where the celestial harmonium relied on collective consensus and carefully planned evolutionary strategies, humans seemed to thrive on individual innovation and collaborative competition. Their scientific publications showed researchers from different cultural backgrounds, economic systems, and philosophical perspectives constantly challenging and building upon each other's work. Military reconnaissance data added another layer of intrigue. The humans possessed weapons of planetary destruction, yet maintained complex diplomatic systems. They simultaneously developed technologies for war and peace, destruction and preservation. Their United Nations represented an attempt at global cooperation that seemed both naive and remarkably sophisticated. Zara's preliminary report began to take shape. This was no ordinary pre-spaceflight civilization. The humans represented something more, a species on the cusp of a potential evolutionary breakthrough. Their ability to adapt, to reimagine their own limitations, suggested potential far beyond their current technological level. "Interesting," she murmured, her sensory tendrils tracing the complex data patterns. "Very interesting indeed." Little did Captain Zara know that her curiosity would soon transform into something far more significant. The celestial harmonium's assessment of humanity, was about to be challenged in ways no predictive model could ever anticipate. As the survey ship Cosmic Insight continued its silent observation, the blue planet continued its endless rotation, a world of 7 billion stories, each one a potential catalyst for the unexpected. The first wave of celestial harmonium ships breached Earth's atmosphere with surgical precision. Crystalline vessels that defied conventional physics hung like silent predators above major global centers. New York, Beijing, London, Moscow. Massive ships cast shadows that blocked out sunlight, transforming day into an unnatural twilight. In the Global Defense Command Center beneath Colorado's mountain range, General Miranda Rodriguez watched the initial assault with a calmness that belied the catastrophic moment. Holographic displays showed the rapid destruction of conventional military infrastructure. Tanks became molten metal. Aircraft disintegrated before they could complete takeoff sequences. Missile defense systems collapsed under waves of quantum disruption. "They think we're going to panic," Miranda murmured to her second-in-command, Colonel James Way. Her fingers danced across multiple communication channels. Military, scientific, civilian networks that most believed had been destroyed in the first minutes of the invasion. The Celestial Harmonium's invasion strategy was a masterpiece of calculated destruction. Their technology suggested millennia of warfare optimization, energy weapons that could liquefy entire city blocks, gravitational disruptors that could flatten mountain ranges, quantum communication networks that anticipated and neutralized any potential resistance before it could fully form. What the aliens did not understand was the nature of human preparation. Scattered across the globe, in hidden research facilities, underground bunkers, and repurposed industrial complexes, humanity's true response was taking shape. Dr. Elena Martinez's team in the Rocky Mountain Research Center had been preparing for something like this for years. Not this specific alien invasion, but the concept of an overwhelming technological threat. "Data transfer complete," a technician announced, his voice steady. Terabytes of scientific research, technological blueprints, and cultural information were being backed up and distributed across a network the Celestial Harmonium couldn't comprehend. Decentralized, redundant, impossible to completely destroy. In Silicon Valley, what remained of the tech industry's best minds were already dissecting captured alien technology. Every destroyed military installation became a source of intelligence. Every fallen spacecraft a potential treasure trove of reverse engineering opportunities. The global satellite network, thought destroyed, maintained critical communication channels, not through traditional means, but through a mesh network that adapted faster than the aliens could track. Military units, scientific teams, and civilian groups communicated through encrypted channels that seemed to emerge from the very destruction around them. Universities became command centers. Research laboratories transformed into weapon development facilities. The line between civilian and military infrastructure blurred completely. "They're treating us like a unified target," Colonel Wee observed, watching the holographic displays. "But we've never been unified. We're chaotic, unpredictable." General Rodriguez allowed herself a slight smile. "Exactly." Beneath the ocean, submarine research facilities continued their work. In space, the remnants of international space programs redirected their most advanced technologies. The International Space Station became an unexpected command and research platform, its multinational crew working with a level of cooperation that defied the aliens' computational models. The Celestial Harmonium believed they were conducting a standard planetary subjugation. Neutralize leadership. Destroy military infrastructure. Create total communication blackout. Prepare for resource extraction. They did not understand that human resilience was not about infrastructure. It was about spirit, about the ability to reimagine survival with each passing moment. In universities, students became researchers. Programmers became strategic analysts. Artists and musicians developed communication technologies that could pierce the aliens' quantum communication barriers. The entire planet was transforming, adapting faster than any species the Celestial Harmonium had ever encountered. Backup systems are online, a communications specialist reported. Global mesh network at 73% functionality. General Rodriguez nodded. The invasion was not over. In many ways, it was just beginning. The celestial harmonium believed they were witnessing a planetary conquest. They did not realize they were participating in humanity's most significant evolutionary moment. Across the planet, in hidden bunkers and makeshift command centers, a single message began to circulate. Not a message of despair, not a message of surrender, a message of preparation. Dr. Elena Martinez stood at the heart of humanity's most critical research facility, hidden deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. Around her, a team of scientists from every conceivable discipline worked with an intensity that defied the global catastrophe unfolding above ground. The facility buzzed with a unique energy, part desperation, part unprecedented opportunity. Quantum physicists worked alongside materials engineers. Biologists collaborated with computer scientists. Linguists decoded alien communication patterns, while mathematicians developed predictive algorithms that could outmaneuver the celestial harmonium's computational defenses. "We're not just fighting," Elena told her team, her voice carrying a mixture of determination and scientific curiosity. "We're learning. Every piece of alien technology is a puzzle waiting to be solved." A massive holographic display dominated the central chamber, tracking global resistance efforts. Captured alien technology lay dissected across multiple workstations. Each fragment represented more than a potential weapon. It was a key to understanding an entirely new technological paradigm. Dr. Hiroshi Nakamura, a quantum computing expert, had made a breakthrough that morning. The alien communication networks, once thought to be impenetrable, had a fundamental weakness. Their computational model relied on absolute predictability, a stark contrast to human cognitive approaches that thrived on randomness and creative problem-solving. "Look at this," Hiroshi said, highlighting a complex data pattern. "Their entire strategic framework assumes a linear progression of technological development. They can't comprehend adaptive thinking." The team worked in shifts that blended into each other. Sleep became a luxury, innovation a necessity. Global communication networks, thought destroyed, maintained critical links through ingenious workarounds. Satellite fragments, damaged communication arrays, even repurposed civilian technologies became conduits of resistance. In a laboratory wing dedicated to materials science, Dr. Maya Rodriguez examined a fragment of alien hull material. What appeared to be an impenetrable defense revealed microscopic vulnerabilities. "They've optimized for strength," she explained to her colleagues. But optimization always creates potential weaknesses. The research wasn't just about creating weapons. It was about understanding. About transforming the invasion into humanity's greatest opportunity for technological leap forward. Across the world, similar research centers emerge. What the celestial harmonium saw as isolated pockets of resistance, humans saw as a distributed network of innovation. Universities became research hubs. Industrial complexes transformed into technology development centers. The entire planet was becoming a single adaptive organism. Dr. Elena Martinez received a communication from the Global Defense Command. Initial reports suggested the aliens were becoming confused by human response patterns. Their predictive models were failing. Where most species would have collapsed under such an overwhelming assault, humans were turning the invasion into a global collaborative project. "We're not just defending," Elena told her team. "We're evolving." A breakthrough came from an unexpected source. A team of linguistic experts, working with advanced artificial intelligence, began to decode the fundamental communication structures of the celestial harmonium. Not just their language, but their entire conceptual framework. The aliens communicated through a highly structured quantum entanglement network. Each communication was a precise mathematical equation designed to convey information with absolute efficiency. Humans discovered something revolutionary. They could introduce variables that the alien systems couldn't process. "It's like they're speaking in perfect, rigid sentences," one linguist explained. "And we're about to introduce poetry." By the end of the first week of invasion, the research facility had developed initial countermeasures, quantum disruptors that could interfere with alien communication networks, material adaptations that could withstand their most advanced weapons, communication protocols that could penetrate their defensive systems. But more importantly, they had discovered something fundamental about the celestial harmonium. For all their technological advancement, the aliens had lost something crucial: the ability to truly innovate, to imagine beyond their current understanding. Humans, by contrast, had turned imagination into their most powerful weapon. As night fell over the hidden mountain research center, Dr. Elena Martinez looked at her team. They weren't just scientists anymore. They were the first line of a defense that would redefine humanity's place in the universe. The unexpected spark had become a potential inferno of innovation. The Battle of New Santiago began as what should have been humanity's final defeat. A massive celestial harmonium battle group descended upon the South American coastline, their crystalline ships casting shadows that blocked out the sun. Local military defenses had been reduced to scattered resistance units, their conventional weapons rendered useless against the alien technology. Commander David Chen stood on the bridge of the retrofitted cargo vessel Prometheus, a ship that moments ago had been designed to transport commercial goods across international waters. Now it would become something entirely different. "Activation sequence," David called out, his voice steady. Around him, a crew of former merchant sailors, retired naval personnel, and civilian volunteers worked with a precision that defied their makeshift origins. The ship's modifications were nothing short of miraculous. Commercial navigation systems reworked into quantum displacement generators, cargo cooling units transformed into energy absorption mechanisms. What the celestial harmonium saw as a simple transport vessel was about to become their worst nightmare. Global communication networks, thought destroyed, pulsed with a carefully orchestrated plan. The attack on New Santiago was more than a battle. It was a calculated demonstration of human ingenuity. Dr. Elena Martinez's research team had discovered a critical vulnerability in the alien technology. Their computational systems relied on absolute predictability. They could calculate millions of potential scenarios, but they struggled with true randomness. Humans, by contrast, thrived on unpredictability. The Prometheus moved in ways no standard military algorithm could predict. It didn't follow traditional naval combat patterns. Instead, it danced, zigzagging, using gravitational anomalies, introducing variables that the alien battle networks couldn't comprehend. Target acquired. A former merchant marine named Sarah Rodriguez called out. Her hands moved across a jury-rigged control system that combined commercial shipping software with experimental quantum targeting systems. 3 alien vessels simply ceased to exist, not destroyed by overwhelming firepower, but disrupted by a targeting system that introduced calculated chaos into their defensive networks. Across the globe, similar battles emerged. What the celestial harmonium saw as isolated resistance became a global adaptive response. A fishing trawler off the coast of Japan, a research vessel in the Antarctic, a repurposed commercial airliner over the Pacific. Each became a weapon of unexpected potential. The aliens had prepared for a conventional war. Humanity was fighting something entirely different. Commander Chen received real-time updates from global resistance networks. Each battle became a learning opportunity. Each encounter provided new data, new understanding of alien technology. The entire planet was becoming a single adaptive learning system. "They're trying to understand our pattern," Sarah observed, watching the alien vessels attempt to recalculate their defensive strategies. David Chen smiled. "We don't have a pattern." The Battle of New Santiago lasted less than 17 minutes. When it concluded, the celestial harmonium lost more vessels than in their entire previous century of galactic conflicts. But the true victory wasn't in the destroyed ships. It was in the message sent. Humanity would not be a passive resource. They would not be conquered. They would adapt, learn, and transform any threat into an opportunity. Intelligence reports suggested total confusion within the Celestial Harmonium's command structure. Their predictive models had failed completely. How could a species with such primitive technology represent such an unprecedented threat? They did not understand that humanity's greatest strength was not in its technology. It was in its ability to reimagine possibility with each passing moment. As night fell over the modified Prometheus *, Commander David Chen reviewed the battle data. Every system, every decision, had been a collaborative effort. Former rivals now worked as a unified team. National boundaries had dissolved in the face of a greater challenge. The Celestial Harmonium had come to harvest a planet. They were discovering they had awakened something far more significant, a species ready to redefine the very concept of resistance. The communication warfare began with a simple internet meme. Deep within the global resistance network, a team of digital strategists, cultural analysts, and communication experts gathered in a repurposed media studio. Dr. Aisha Kapoor, head of psychological operations, understood something fundamental about human communication that the Celestial Harmonium could never comprehend. It's not about the message, she explained to her multicultural team. It's about the medium, about how we connect. The aliens had systematically destroyed traditional communication infrastructure, but they failed to understand the true nature of human connectivity. Every destroyed network spawned 3 more improvised communication channels. Every blocked transmission became an opportunity for creative workaround. The first breakthrough came from an unexpected source. A group of independent musicians and digital artists began encoding resistance communications through complex musical and visual patterns. What appeared to be simple artistic expression became a sophisticated communication network that completely baffled the alien communication systems. "Look at this," said Marcus Rivera, a former network security specialist, pointing to a complex visualization. Alien communication networks, designed for absolute precision, couldn't process the layered meanings, emotional nuances, and contextual complexity of human artistic expression. Global radio stations, thought destroyed, began broadcasting on unexpected frequencies. Each transmission carried multiple layers of meaning: scientific data, resistance coordinates, cultural information, personal stories. The Celestial Harmonium's communication interceptors became overwhelmed by the sheer complexity of human expression. Social media platforms, once considered trivial, transformed into critical communication infrastructure. What the aliens saw as chaotic information exchange was actually a sophisticated, distributed intelligence network. Hashtags became coded messages. Memes transformed into strategic communication protocols. Dr. Kapoor's team developed communication strategies that defied traditional warfare doctrine. They weren't just resisting. They were transforming the very concept of conflict. A global network of artists, musicians, writers, and creators became as crucial to the resistance as any military unit. They developed communication technologies that could pierce the aliens' quantum communication barriers. Language itself became a weapon of unprecedented sophistication. They understand mathematical precision, Dr. Kapoor explained. We communicate in poetry. University linguistics departments worldwide collaborated on developing communication strategies. Each alien transmission became an opportunity to understand their communication framework. Each intercepted message revealed more about the Celestial Harmonium's fundamental cognitive limitations. The psychological warfare went deeper than simple communication disruption. The resistance began broadcasting human cultural content directly into alien communication networks. Music that defied mathematical precision, art that challenged linear thinking, stories that introduced concepts of emotion, creativity, and individual experience. Alien communication officers reported increasing system instabilities. Their quantum networks, designed for absolute efficiency, began to experience unprecedented interference, not through technological disruption, but through something far more complex: cultural complexity. Museums around the world, many damaged but not destroyed, became centers of resistance. Archivists worked alongside communication specialists to develop strategies that could penetrate alien communication barriers. Every piece of human cultural expression became a potential weapon. "We're not just fighting," Dr. Kapoor told her team. "We're teaching." The celestial harmonium discovered something terrifying. Humanity was not a single, unified entity that could be easily categorized or conquered. They were a complex, adaptive system of individual experiences, cultural expressions, and collective imagination. Each communication became a lesson in human complexity. Each transmission a demonstration of a cognitive approach that defied traditional computational models. By the end of the first month of invasion, the celestial harmonium's communication networks were in complete disarray. Their quantum communication systems, once considered impenetrable, now struggled to maintain basic functionality. They had come to harvest a planet. Instead, they were learning the most important lesson of their existence. Humanity was not a resource to be collected. Humanity was an experience to be understood. Captain Zara of the Celestial Harmonium stood before the central computational matrix, her sensory tendrils trembling with a sensation her species had not experienced in millennia. Uncertainty. The holographic displays surrounding her showed a planetary conflict that defied every known strategic model. Humanity was not just resisting. They were transforming the very nature of conflict itself. Quantum analysis networks struggled to process the incoming data. Each human interaction introduced variables that the celestial harmonium's computational systems could not predict. Where most species would have collapsed under a technological assault of this magnitude, humans were evolving in real time. "Recalculate," Zara commanded the central processing unit. The response was something unprecedented in the harmonium's history, an error message that suggested complete computational breakdown. Across the invaded territories, human resistance had taken forms that challenged fundamental understanding of technological warfare. Research facilities that should have been destroyed became centers of unprecedented innovation. Educational institutions transformed into strategic development centers. Every destroyed infrastructure became an opportunity for reimagination. Dr. Ilinga Martinez's research team had discovered something extraordinary. The celestial harmonium's technological supremacy was built on a fundamental limitation, a belief in absolute predictability. Their entire civilization had optimized for efficiency at the cost of adaptability. Humans, by contrast, thrived on uncertainty. Global communication networks, thought to be destroyed, pulsed with a complexity that bewildered alien intelligence systems. What appeared to be chaos was actually a sophisticated, distributed intelligence network. Universities became research hubs. Industrial complexes transformed into technology development centers. The entire planet was becoming a single adaptive organism. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source. A network of researchers, including mathematicians, linguists, computer scientists, and cultural experts, developed a communication strategy that could penetrate the aliens' quantum communication networks. "They communicate in perfect mathematical equations," explained Dr. Hiroshi Nakamura. "We're introducing something they can't process. Context, emotion, possibility." Captured alien technology revealed more than potential weapons. Each fragment became a key to understanding an entirely new technological paradigm. The research facilities were not just defending. They were learning, evolving. Captain Zara received reports that challenged everything her civilization understood about planetary conquest. Resistance units used technologies in ways that defied computational prediction. A commercial shipping network became a sophisticated communication system. A group of musicians developed communication protocols that could pierce quantum communication barriers. The celestial harmonium had encountered countless civilizations during their galactic expansion. Some resisted, some surrendered. None had ever responded like this. Humanity was not fighting a traditional war. They were rewriting the very concept of conflict. Global networks synchronized in ways that suggested a level of collective intelligence the aliens could not comprehend. Each destroyed communication channel spawned multiple alternative pathways. Each fallen research facility became a distributed network of innovation. They're not just defending, one alien strategic analyst reported. They're transforming. The most critical revelation came from a detailed analysis of human cognitive patterns, where the celestial harmonium's computational systems sought absolute efficiency. Human thinking embraced complexity. Randomness was not a weakness. It was a strength. Mathematical models failed. Predictive algorithms collapsed. The entire invasion strategy, developed over millennia of galactic conquest, was falling apart in weeks. As night fell over the global resistance network, the true nature of the conflict became clear. This was more than a battle for a planet. It was a confrontation between two fundamentally different approaches to existence. The celestial harmonium had come to harvest a resource. They were discovering they had awakened something far more significant. A species capable of transforming any challenge into an opportunity for growth. Humanity was not just surviving. They were redefining the very concept of resistance. The final battle began not with a thunderous assault, but with a whisper of quantum interference. General Miranda Rodriguez stood in the Global Command Center, a facility that had become the nerve center of humanity's most critical resistance effort. Holographic displays surrounded her, each showing a different aspect of the global conflict. The celestial harmonium had committed their ultimate weapon, a planet-killer device capable of reducing entire continents to atomic dust. Incoming transmission, a communications specialist announced. The massive view screen flickered to life, revealing Captain Zara of the celestial harmonium. Her alien features betrayed something unprecedented, a mixture of confusion and emerging respect. Your resistance defies all computational models, Zara stated, her communication translated through advanced linguistic algorithms. Surrender is the most logical outcome. Miranda's response was a smile that spoke volumes. The planet-killer weapon approached Earth's orbit, a massive crystalline structure that represented the pinnacle of the celestial harmonium's technological achievement. Billions of quantum calculations per second guided its approach. Predictive algorithms suggested total planetary destruction within moments. What the aliens did not understand was the nature of human preparation. Dr. Elena Martinez's research team had been studying the weapon for weeks, not through conventional means, but through a global network of scientists, mathematicians, and engineers who approached the challenge like an unprecedented puzzle. It's not about destroying the weapon, Elena explained to her team. It's about understanding it, transforming it. Global satellite networks, thought destroyed, pulsed with carefully coordinated signals. The International Space Station, damaged but not defeated, became a critical platform for the final resistance. Astronauts from multiple nations worked in perfect synchronization, their training and cultural diversity becoming their greatest strength. The planet-killer weapon began to behave in ways its creators could not predict. Quantum entanglement protocols became corrupted. Computational pathways introduced unexpected variables. What should have been a precise instrument of destruction became something entirely different. Weapon systems destabilizing. A computer specialist called out. The words didn't convey the magnitude of what was happening. Humanity was not just defending. They were reprogramming the very instrument meant to destroy them. Military units around the globe moved with a coordination that defied traditional warfare doctrine. A fishing trawler in the Pacific became a communication relay. A research facility in the Andes became a critical computational node. Every damaged infrastructure became an opportunity for reimagination. Captain Zara watched in mounting confusion as the planet-killer weapon began to transform. Its crystalline structure shifted. Quantum calculations that should have guided destruction now seemed to be pursuing an entirely different objective. What are you doing? Zara's communication carried a hint of something unprecedented for her species, genuine curiosity. General Rodriguez's response was calm. We're teaching you something about possibility. The weapon that was meant to destroy Earth began to disassemble itself, not through destruction, but through a process of quantum reconfiguration that the celestial harmonium had never considered possible. Each component became something new. a potential source of energy, a communication device, a piece of technological innovation. Across the planet, resistance units celebrated not with traditional military triumph, but with a sense of profound transformation. This was more than a victory. It was a demonstration of human potential. The final moments of the confrontation became a lesson in unexpected possibility. The celestial harmonium had come with the intention of harvesting a planet. Instead, they were receiving an education in the most fundamental human quality: the ability to transform any challenge into an opportunity. As the weapons components began to settle into new configurations, a message broadcast across alien communication networks. Not a declaration of war, not a threat, a simple, profound statement of human potential. We are not a resource to be collected, the message read. We are a possibility waiting to be understood. The aftermath of the conflict defied every known protocol of interstellar diplomacy. Captain Zara stood before the United Earth Council, her once imposing form now bearing the weight of a profound transformation. The crystalline chambers of the celestial harmonium's diplomatic vessel had been replaced by a simple conference room in Geneva, a city that had become a symbol of human resilience. Dr. Elena Martinez sat to the left of the United Earth Council's lead negotiator. Behind her, a diverse team of scientists, diplomats, and cultural experts represented a planet that had fundamentally changed during the conflict. "We did not come to conquer," Zura began, her translation systems struggling to capture the nuance of her emerging understanding. "We came to categorize, to collect, to understand." The human response was not what she expected. Instead of demands for reparation or calls for retribution, the humans presented something far more complex: a comprehensive analysis of the conflict, not as a military victory, but as a moment of potential interstellar communication. Dr. Martinez's presentation revealed the depth of human adaptation. Each moment of the conflict was analyzed not as a battle, but as an opportunity for mutual understanding. The captured alien technologies were not studied as weapons, but as potential bridges of knowledge. "Your computational systems," Elena explained, "operate on a model of absolute efficiency. Ours thrive on possibility." The celestial harmonium delegation found themselves in an unprecedented situation. They had come to harvest a planet. Instead, they were being invited to understand it. Global research centers that had been critical to the resistance now transformed into international collaboration platforms. Universities opened their doors to alien researchers. Scientific communities that had been scattered now worked with a level of coordination that surprised even themselves. Captain Zara began to understand something fundamental about humanity. They were not defined by their technology. They were defined by their ability to reimagine possibility. The United Earth Council's proposal was breathtaking in its complexity. Instead of demanding punishment, they offered collaboration, research exchanges, cultural understanding, a comprehensive program of mutual discovery that would fundamentally challenge both civilizations. "We are not interested in conquest," the lead negotiator explained. "We are interested in understanding." The diplomatic proceedings became something entirely unexpected. Not a treaty of surrender, but a framework for mutual exploration. The celestial harmonium's computational models collapsed under the weight of human complexity. Research facilities around the world began to analyze the captured alien technologies, but not as potential weapons, as potential solutions to challenges facing human civilization: climate adaptation, energy production, medical breakthroughs. Captain Zara watched as human scientists approached alien technology with a sense of wonder that her own civilization had lost millennia ago. Every fragment was an opportunity. Every technological challenge a potential moment of discovery. The global resistance network that had been critical during the conflict now transformed into a platform for unprecedented collaboration. Scientists from every continent worked together with a level of coordination that defied traditional diplomatic models. "We are not just sharing technology," Dr. Martinez explained during a global broadcast. "We are sharing a way of understanding." The celestial harmonium discovered something profound. Humanity's greatest strength was not in its ability to resist. It was in its capacity to transform any challenge into an opportunity for growth. Diplomatic sessions became something between scientific exploration and cultural exchange. The humans did not seek to humiliate or destroy the alien civilization that had attempted to conquer them. They sought to understand, to learn, to grow. As the first joint research missions were planned, Captain Zara realized something that would fundamentally change her entire civilization's approach to exploration. Conquest was not about collection. It was about connection. The galaxy would never be the same again. Humanity had not just survived an invasion. They had transformed the very concept of first contact.